What is up, Cabbage Crew? It is Matt and John here. We're going to be reviewing episode 8 of Dragon Prince. The Cursed Caldera was the title of the episode. And I guess we'll just do our initial reactions and thoughts, and then we'll break it down scene by scene. Just a reminder to subscribe. And then also Wednesdays, Fridays, 8 a.m. is when these episodes come out. Starting season 2, we're going to be doing reactions as well as the reviews. So definitely check those out as well. Right, John? John's very tired.
Bring your family, bring your friends, bring people you have met on the street. Buy them a sandwich and say, "Hey, if I buy you the sandwich, subscribe to this podcast." Like, it's not that hard, people. Not that hard.
Definitely. Alrighty, well, we'll just jump right into it. Episode starts with the group walking up first they kind of, I guess, are hiding from the humans that are chasing them down. And then
chasing them up.
True. Chasing them up. And the group runs into Ellis and Ava. Ellis is the little girl. She probably looks maybe around Ezra's age, 8 or so. And then Ava is her wolf. I always want to say like wolf dog or like wolf panda.
Call it.
It's like, no,
no, just call him a husky.
Oh, well, he was a wolf. I mean, it's literally said she's not a wolf. So I mean, for the sake of the episode, we're just gonna call them the group. Instead of just calling them, there's like 6 of them at this point. So the group, and really the focus of the episode was the entire group. Besides a few times it jumped back to Varen at the castle. So yeah, I mean, for the most part, I mean, we'll just talk about the main plot, and then if you want at the end, we'll talk a little bit more about the side plot that they went back to. Really only like 2 or 3 times. It was probably a full 2 minutes of content, I guess 2 minutes of screen time. So yeah, there's a little cool little montage of them going up the mountain. And really the first time we really have them interact is them going over a plan of how to defeat any monsters that they run into. Right. I mean, I'll let you start with that unless you have something else you want to talk about.
Well, yeah, I actually did want to talk.
Yeah.
Before they talked about that said plan, this is Rayla's first time meeting Ellis and Ava. And so it's like, oh, we haven't met yet, while they're walking and like already agreeing that this person can be trusted. Oh yeah, by the way, we haven't met yet. And it's kind of funny how like Raylan like just never met her until now. But it makes sense in terms of the plot. But and she ends up telling a funny story about how she met Ezran, and she goes like,
yeah.
And then Alice is like, because like Rayla's planning to kill Ezran, but then like they're here, they're friends, and then Alice is just like, oh, aren't there just interesting ways to meet people?
Yeah. And it also shows because I feel as though Ellis knows she's an elf, correct? Like pretty quickly.
I'm assuming so.
Yeah, so it is interesting how a younger person doesn't, much like how the younger with Callum and Ezran, they're young, naive, whatever you want to call it. They kind of they accept, or I should say not necessarily accept, but they are not opposed of saying, hey, this person is the opposite race of me, I guess you could say, but I'm going to still trust them because of whatever reason, where I feel like the older humans and elves are like completely against any type of even if it's negotiating and helping each other or any type of like banding together for for any reason. So that's an interesting thing. So let's talk about the plan. I guess I wrote it down here.
Yep.
Flash runs. Well, it was a couple different ones, but it was, I think, Flash, Run, Zap, and Slash. Was it?
Yeah. So, Ezrin holds bait in the air, does the glow, boom, and then Ellis and Ava, they just bark around and circle the monster, and then and then Callum uses the wind breath spell or the lightning spell, and then finally Rayla takes him down with a big ol' swoosh.
Right, swoosh. That's what it was. Slash, swoosh. Yeah, I mean, it was when he explained it, it was kind of cheesy in my opinion.
It was real bad. It reminded me of a lot of soccer moment.
I feel like I don't know why, but there are, because it does sound like something Sokka would say, but it's things that Sokka says mainly land, and you're like, okay,
right, no, yeah,
it works.
What Sokka says is here, and then what Callum says is like here,
right?
Like in terms of like the mature answer, like a more like bigger worded definitions, better thought out ideas.
Yeah, I mean, not even idea, because the idea I think was fine. It's just like the execution of the writing that's supposed to come off as funny slash makes it easy for the audience. Because the whole point of that was to make the plan easy for us to know as an audience that's young, but also has to come out as a little bit humorous. And like the humor part didn't hit, so like it was just kind of cheesy.
Right.
So I mean, that it is what it is. Again, we've talked about this a few times, that the humor is just not landing in a good amount of scenes. I would say 60-40 when it comes to not landing.
Well, what did you think about it in this episode in particular overall? And I don't want you to jump ahead. I just want you to answer that.
I think there was a few good ones. I mean, one's gonna be coming up, but like that last episode, I thought did a really good job at hitting the majority of the last couple episodes. It's getting better and better. Maybe it was 2 episodes ago that the episode with Kren in there, like that hit pretty good, and it was like, okay, this is a pretty where it hit. I don't know if it's just because some of the characters aren't funny to me. Like, I don't think Rayla is a funny character. Nothing against her character. She's a good character, but she's not funny. So when she says something that's trying to be funny, especially with the accent, and then just she's just not that funny of a character, it doesn't land. And I don't really think any of the characters are, to be honest, that funny, or like comedic relief. I think it's more of there has been a few funny sequences. One is I'll explain in a few seconds. It's gonna be there's two of them back to back scenes that were pretty funny. But neither of them were necessarily a character being funny. It was more of or something happened that was a situational thing that made that scene funny.
Sure.
So
yeah, I slightly disagree, but I will agree first with the Callum explaining the plan not landing. I don't think it landed either. I was like, this is too basic. Like, what the hell?
Yeah,
it's very basic. But I think the dialogue / the humor in this episode was just everywhere. Like it was just, there were funny moments, and then some of them didn't land. But I thought the ones that did land outperformed the ones that didn't a little bit. Like I thought
outweighed them.
I was more pleased with the average ones that landed in this episode were overall better written over the entire show so far.
Yeah.
Like there's that, like the sarcasm where like Ellis tells the group that, oh, this is just the beginning of the cursed Caldera. Like as you go higher and it gets darker, the creatures get worse. And she's like, yay, let's go. Like it was like in a super sarcastic, funny way to me.
It's
Like
that one didn't land on me either.
I chuckled a little bit. It was good.
The one I actually, and this is actually going to be coming up here, so I'll just say because we're going to skip all the variant stuff for later. We're going to have that as one big one. One thing when they went to that kind of where the majority of the plot actually was, that kind of misty, foggy area, with all the dead trees and stuff, where they eventually go against one of the monsters. I should have wrote down the joke, to be honest, but I just didn't. So I apologize. But there was a scene where they found a grasshopper, and then he says something, and the cricket happened, as if like really a cricket would happen. Like he says a joke or something, and then it goes, the cricket happens, and he looks back at the grasshopper. He's like, like that. I was like, okay, that's kind of funny. But yeah, I mean, we talked about it. It's just the humor hasn't landed as much. I wish it has. To be honest, I almost wish the vibe of this show was a little bit different. I think they are trying to go for an Avatar less Airbender vibe, and again, we go with Avatar because it's the same writer. But they're going for that vibe of like Avatar less Airbender, serious, but it is a kid's show, so we have some goofy, funny moments, especially season 1 of Avatar, early season 2 of Avatar. But where Avatar landed a lot of those jokes, I would say maybe 80% of the jokes, this show is landing 30, maybe 40% of the jokes.
Mm-hmm.
So when it's falling flat more, it's just hurting it. And Avatar did a good job too, because it was 20 episodes in a season, not 9. Where by episode like 6, we really got a good amount of time with each character, because each character had their own individual episodes. Where this is more
Avatar or this?
Yeah, Avatar.
Okay.
Yeah, each character got their own individual episodes. Like, I mean, we talked about it before, but like Sokka's episode, you could say, was the Kyoshi Island episode. Katara's episode was imprisoned. So they all have their kind of individual. So by the time we get to episode 6, 7, we're loving these characters more and more. So when even there's a cheesy-ish joke, we're rolling with the characters. This is more an adventure that we're taking with these characters. And so we're having less time with each one of them because there is so much going on. There's a big world, a big plot going on, a lot of different characters. So I would say, like, where I'm kind of getting to is, I would say 8 episodes into the show, we have way less time with characters like Kayla, and Ezrin and Rayla than we did with shows like Avatar or any other show that has maybe like 3 main characters, right? So you just get less time with them. So certain jokes, like I don't see certain characters as like funny yet. And sometimes when you love a character, you give them the benefit of the doubt of a funny scene. You're like, not that funny, but I love this character. So it's like, okay. Where this, I'm not doing that yet. That's kind of where my long-winded answer of that. So I mean, that's kind of how I feel about the comedy. So
yeah, I mean, I understand it. And I guess like we're mostly in agreement in the overall with this episode. I guess I did like because like there were jokes that didn't land here. Like I admit that, but I think, like I said earlier, I just think the ones that did land here did like what they did ended up being better than like previous jokes that were said in previous episodes.
Okay.
Like what we'll save the Viren stuff, but like, you know exactly what I'm talking
about. I know you're talking about the Krenz. Yeah, I had that written down. Yeah. I mean, Krenz is just a funny character, man.
Yeah.
Like, he's becoming a fan favorite, one of my favorite characters at this point.
I'm not surprised.
Every time he's on this, like literally every time he's on, he had maybe 8 seconds of screen time, and it was the best part of this episode.
I would like to try a Zadian fruit.
Yeah. I mean,
it's no response.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. It's just the delivery. Like, he has really good, that actor / that character just has really good delivery. So yeah, and it's a nice surprise too, because I definitely thought that character would just be a throwaway, like, all right, he does. I guess he's the interpreter. He does sign language, or for sign
Mhm.
language stuff. But no, he's he's a great character,
Yeah.
or at least a good
Yeah.
comedy relief.
Yeah. But going back to the group, because we don't want to
Yeah, of course.
divulge into the Viren stuff yet, but um, we can go about how they saw the dead animal, dead creature,
Mhm.
and then the little fight escape with the it's the sand dune worm, like from Dune. Like that's what it
Yeah,
reminded me of.
yeah. It
Um,
was a large leech creature.
yeah, yeah,
I first I put centipede, but they even
yeah,
said it was a leech. So,
yeah.
um, so yeah, they find a large dead monster. Find out what actually, I guess all of its blood was taken from it. A leech attacks them. They attempt to do their plan, but it's he kind of fumbled, just because they were not expecting an attack already.
Right,
So really, they get separated into two different groups. One of them being uh, Ellis, Ava, and Gallum, and the other group being Ezrin and Rayla. Kind of a little bit separated. They can still talk to each other, but they're separated in the
right.
sense of their different platforms.
Mm-hmm.
So there's two different good conversations happening about a good character development scene.
Yep.
Rayla talking about how she feels like she can never finish. She feels like she's strong and all the things a warrior should be, but she can never finish the job, which comes back a little bit later, which I appreciated because we have already seen her at times not be able to finish. So I appreciate that. Um, and a little bit more struggles with her arm as well. And it's
Mm-hmm.
nice to see the consistency of them keep going back to the fact that her arm is essentially falling off, which is nice. Not nice, but it's nice to see that consistency. No, it's always it's always uh, another pet peeve of mine, but it's always sometimes a pet peeve of mine when, for instance, if a character gets punched in the face and you see a new bruise, or a character has a bruise and then the next episode they don't have a bruise and it's only supposed to be
Yep.
20 minutes
Yep.
later.
Yep.
And so we have, by the way, something I love about the MCU, Tony Stark.
Mm-hmm.
In Iron Man 1, he gets hit by not a bullet, but a bullet essentially with his suit on, and it hurts
Yep.
his arm. And in
Yep.
every movie you see him in, he's always messing with his arm. He's always like going like that with his arm, so they keep
Yep.
that consistency. So that's like a
I
cool
like that.
thing.
That's a good notice.
Yeah. So like he's always like this, so he's always, like it's like it still hurts him. And that's just a cool consistency. So to see her messing with her hand 4 episodes after she mentioned that it's that the wristband's hurting her, and you see the purples kind of going through her arm, like that's a nice thing that the writers are doing.
Right.
What do you think about that first conversation with her?
No, I mean it
Rilla?
was just about I think, I mean, we already like dived into it a little bit in the previous episodes with
Mhm.
how she felt, so the audience knows. Um, even if she didn't even say anything, you could just tell from her face and how she was about to do it. There was a reason why she didn't, and
Mhm.
like it was kind of self evident in the first episode when that happened. Um, uh, Even seeing the guard, seeing the knight, like
Yeah.
be in fear is the reason why she didn't finish the job. Like she didn't. I don't think she needed to explain it, but it was fine.
Yeah.
Um, and but I did appreciate herself because it all revolves around back to self confidence.
Mhm.
And I noticed when those two groups were split up, that's what both of their Callum and Rayla's story was about. They were
Mm.
both about self confidence,
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I didn't even
and
notice that.
so it just comes around full circle. And so, like, Alice was there, like, complimenting Callum about it's not the stone. Like, yeah, the stone helps a lot, but you're also these descriptions, these characteristics, and
Yeah.
he says, the primal stone is the real reason why I'm this way. And like, and then Rayla goes on and says like it I'm very good at everything except when it matters, like what you alluded to just a few minutes ago. It just reminded me like a lot of football players, like a lot of good people that they're good on paper, they're good regularly, but when the moment counts,
I like that.
they don't do it. Like Kirk Cousins, right? Like he's a
Whoa.
he's a
Whoa. No, let's not talk about Kirk Cousins there.
We
Dak Prescott.
Okay, we can go Dak. We can go Kirk Cousins. We can go Lamar Jackson. We can
No.
We can
Whoa.
go any way we want here. But
I get what you mean, though. No, I understand what you're saying.
It's just like they're good, but they can't go across that finish line, win that big game of like a Super Bowl. So
yeah, no, I like that comparison parallel. I like the parallel of the two conversations with both of them having self-confidence in two different ways. So no, I didn't even really catch that when I was watching it, that they were very like similar conversations, parallel to each other.
similar. It was a similar flaw that they both had, or at least they felt they had about themselves. And I think it's kind of hinted. Like I think I don't know how to say it. Like I think Rayla and Callum will grow and develop a better relationship and I think they're growing overall because it's everyone's getting to know each other, and now there's that trust and group bonding. But I think because of their flaws, and I'll say it like this: they are connected by their flaws, and they don't know it.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. So they get down from. They think the coast is clear. They get down. They get attacked by the leech again. This time they are ready to go, so they do their plan. It kind of shows off at least the two that just talked about their flaws. He was able to use his power and with confidence,
right?
Callum, and Rayla was able to finish off the leech creature. It's funny, like little other leech creatures attacked, and then Callum used the wind. So you're starting to see that he's getting more comfortable with his. Like as of right now, we know he knows two powers, to create wind and then to create lightning. So I don't know what else he would be able to do.
We'll find out.
We'll find out. Yeah. So
did question about there was a conversation between Ellis and Callum about the amulet. Do you think that was actually a true statement where do you think he needs one and is actually looking for one? Or do you think that was just like part of the running joke at the time? Because it seemed like it was semi-serious.
Yeah. I don't know yet.
Because it sounded like the amulet like is also like a power source or like.
Yeah. That's why we're kind of still learning about the power sources themselves. So,
right.
We're still learning about the magic kind of themselves in this world. So, maybe he knows something we don't, or I don't know. But yeah, sorry, my dog's freaking out. But yeah.
And it was kind of funny with when they were, this is just going back to their previous conversations with each other, where like, Rayla's just telling the story of, not killing not assassinating the night guard. I'm just gonna call him the night guard. And like it's just a laying out her feelings, and at the end it's just like Ezra just goes, "Yeah, thanks for feeling at your mission. I'm happy to be alive."
Yeah.
I laughed at that. I was like, after all that, you're gonna say that? That's great.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So let's just jump to the so that whole sequence ends, and then we'll just kind of I guess right at the end they reveal. So I was kind of confused by this, and I guess we're gonna find out the next episode. But they all stop, and Ezra kind of stops and says, we're not gonna be able to." I forgot what he says. But
He
we're not
literally
gonna.
says that there's no magic healer.
Yeah, there's no magic healer.
Or miracle healer.
So I don't
Like,
know if
and I'm
he.
like, how the hell do you know?
Well, yeah, I'm assuming he figured something out.
Of course, but it's like the way that I hate how
it came across.
Like,
It came across very odd. It came across in the sense of they wanted it to be a cliffhanger, but it's like the cliffhanger doesn't make sense. Like,
no, because it's like, how do you
yeah,
know?
I don't know. We'll find out, and we'll find
Well,
out.
no,
But,
I mean we'll find out. But
yeah,
no, I disagree
yeah,
with how it ended.
I agree. I wasn't fond of the ending. And so we'll jump to.
It seemed lazy. Like it seemed lazy in the sense of
Okay. Yeah.
how to proceed with the final episode of season 1.
Mm-hmm. No, like I said, it was like they wanted a cliffhanger, which is fine.
Yes,
But they just threw something in to tell the audience, so the audience is like, "Ooh, what? What do you mean?"
right,
But it's
right,
like, well, what? But how did he know? What happened? And
right.
again, it might get explained, but there's been a lot of let's make the audience not know what's going on and then explain it later, but in the wrong way to the point where it's like it's almost you're leaving out information to make it so we end the episode and we're like, "Yeah, that's kind of random." And instead of being like, "Oh, like I think if he just said something, whatever the reason is, if he says it and they're like, so this is all for nothing or something, and then it ends, it's like, okay, well, we still have a dying egg, so
Right.
like we still are a cliffhanger.
Right.
But now we know there's no healer. We're on this mountain and it ends, and we're like, okay, now what? So I think that would have been a fine ending, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's go to the Varen part. He is interrogating. Was it Runan?
You got it.
Runan. He's interrogating Runan and brings him food and essentially you find out Runan basically says like a very interesting thing that I think Varen says to Runan, which is essentially like you are already essentially. I'm trying to word it, but you're essentially already like taking in that you're already dead. Like you
Yes.
already think you're dead. So there's no reason to even continue eating. You're accepting that you're dead.
Right.
Which is probably the elven way of doing it, so they don't give away information, so they don't do something. That
Well,
which is
no, that's
interesting.
not the reason. They said the reason. The
Did
reason
they?
why. Yeah, the reason why Runan says that, why he says like I am already dead, is and well, maybe Viren claims that this is the reason. So I don't know if it's the real reason, but Viren claims that it's because he's like, oh yeah, I've heard about this moon shadow elf way of saying that you're already dead. It's because it makes you so that you're not fear of death.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get to. Okay.
It's a psychological thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, this is more stuff that we don't really know, right? We were confused last episode about the mirror. It turns out that it's a relic that I guess was from the elves. So he's even trying to find out what exactly the mirror does.
Because they said that it was in the bed chamber of the queen and king of is it the elves?
Yeah.
Is that true that it was the elvish
Yeah,
chamber?
I think so. Yeah. And we're missing that, so we apologize. But yeah, that's why I think I think that's what they said, so that's why they have it, and no one really knows what to do with it.
Yeah, apparently it has these powers, and the only thing that they can remotely think why it has the powers is because it was so close to the Elvish king and queen by their bedside.
Yeah, so the episode seems to end by him taking his soul and putting it into like a coin.
Yep.
Which is interesting because he talked about taking the king's soul and putting it into another person. With the viper snake. So maybe his intentions, maybe it's kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh. It's like I'm gonna put your soul into a card. It's like I'm gonna put maybe he did that to Hero. Maybe
The
Hero
Shadow Realm.
In like a little coin thing.
It's like
and then he comes
Superman too, and
yeah.
Superman puts Zod and his posse into the little glass square.
It all, yeah. I mean, it reminds me of a lot of stuff, right? It reminds me of in Star Wars, they do that with well, they don't do a soul, but they Han in the
Technical difficulties.
I lost power. Yeah, sorry about that. Han Solo was stuck in the thing. I don't remember what it's called. Only seen Star Wars once. No, I remember like the famous, like he's stuck in the stone.
Oh, hydrocarbonite.
Yes.
Wait, right?
Yeah, I just thought of like
Wait
Yu-Gi-Oh!
A minute.
I just rewatched Yu-Gi-Oh! Whatever. I just rewatched Yu-Gi-Oh! Pegasus was putting
Frozen
the
and
souls in the
carbonite.
cards. Yeah. So it reminded me of them in the cards. But he did a power. His whole face, probably body, looked like some other creature, like we kind of talked about.
It was Runon. I think he took some of Runon's powers, right?
No. Runon was soul was. Oh, maybe he just looked like a darker. He looked very dark and like glowing eyes.
Right.
Which we saw him look like that when he went to the butterflies. I think it was last episode or 2 episodes ago. That's what his face looked like. And you kind of like saw it shadowy, but you could tell it was like darker. So something's happening where he's using dark. I think what he's doing is he's using dark magic, and maybe it's doing something to him, corrupting him, whatever. And then he's going to his butterflies and like rejuvenizing himself, I guess. It's the right wording. But I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, we have 1 episode left. I was very shocked that we didn't see Soren and Claudia in this episode at all.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm assuming they're going to be right at the end of the first season.
They're just at the fort, the branch.
Yeah, they're just there hanging out and thinking about what to do. I mean, they already have the thing, so we'll see. I was just shocked we didn't see those. I mean, we have what seems like a pretty filled finale. With what's going to happen now that there's no healer. What's going to happen to the egg? Is Claudia and Soren going to get into the mix? I'm sure there's going to be more stuff with Runan and Varen. What's going on with Hera? I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot going on.
Well, tell me how you think it's going to end.
I kind of said that last time. I still think it's going to be about the same. I think that I don't know what's going to happen with the healer, but I essentially just think that whatever the climax of the episode is I think it's going to end with Claudia and Soren changing sides. Probably because they see the egg still alive. They kind of come to the conclusion that our dad's tricking both of us, and now it's going to be. And I don't know if this new girl and her dog's going to join the group. I don't think they will. I doubt some 8-year-old's just going to run off for no reason.
Dad back in the village. So
that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like there's no reason for this random little girl to run off. But I do think that the finale is going to end with Bait, Ezrin, Rayla, Callum, Soren, and Claudia, and the Dragon Prince now being hatched as the dragon, all leaving and continuing the quest. That's what I think. That's
That's
so,
good. I
and
like
that's
it.
going to be the new group going into season 2. It's like, all right, now it's 5 of us with 2 animals, and that's going to be the group for the rest of the series.
I like that. I really do.
That's where I think we're going to lead off.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. The only thing that I'll add is it's just season 2 is just going to continue on with nothing's going to change next episode in the sense of Varen's still going to be in control, and season 2 is going to be the same thing.
Yeah, I think she's going to lose the wristband, so she's going to be healed.
Yeah,
Rayla is. So I think that little mini arc is going to be gone, and she's going to be healed.
I think the healer exists. I think the healer shows up.
Yeah, maybe we'll find out. So yeah, I think that's.
It's like the painted lady. No one believes her until the end of the episode.
Yeah, maybe she'll pop up.
Forget the miracle healer, the painted lady.
All right, well, Cabbage Crew, thanks for joining us. We got one more episode until season 1 is over. We're going to be having again episode 9 review. We're also going to be reviewing the entire first season. We're going to talk about our strengths, weaknesses, any theories we may have going into season 2. We might play some games as well. We're going to have a full 40-50 minute episode of us just talking about the season. And then season 2, we're going to be doing reaction videos, which I'm excited for. We're going to be playing around with the reaction videos of season 2. So definitely, a couple of you guys have been commenting below and kind of just filling us in on certain things, and we really appreciate that. So if any of our little, I wouldn't say spoil anything for us, but definitely continue filling us in. Maybe even say if one of our predictions is truer than we think, or if we're on the same page of what we might,
just say we're not far off. How about that?
Yeah, say we're not far off, or say we're completely wrong. I would say comment below on something, but I don't really know what you guys would comment below. Actually, how about this? comment below. I want you guys to tell me this. I don't mind this spoiler. Does Kren become more of an important character? I want to know. Is Kren in season 6? He's just a pretty big character. I want to know more about Kren. What's happening with Kren? Besides that, though, John, anything else you want to say?
Subscribe. Tell your friends. Tell your neighbors. Tell your family. Tell the Burger King employee. Tell the waiter at the nice restaurant. Tell
anyone that enjoys Avatar, Dragon Prince, or any other show that is, I wouldn't say completely anime, but on that verge of adult cartoons, anime, kind of this realm of media, because we're going to be watching a lot and reviewing a lot and reacting to a lot of these type of content. So if you guys like it and you know anyone that also thinks, you think that they're like it as well, check it out. Definitely.
Yes.
And the Burger King guy. That's cool too.
Yeah.
See ya.